Well, hey everybody. Welcome to the whatever this is called that I forgot what I put into StreamYard. Um, impromptu something? I don't know. It's just people talking about our campaigns and how painful everything is. Um,
I believe you called it Keep It Rolling
there you go. That sounds right.
fullsteam.com forward
That's
slash
right.
TV.
Yeah. So, welcome to therapy session. Um, now we have campaigns. Some of us have. John, you haven't launched yet, right?
I have not launched Tuesday.
Okay, cool. All right, all right. I'm. Jessica, do you want me to drop links or what? What are
I
you
can
doing?
do it.
All right, it's all you.
I'll drop my own
Um.
link.
Anyway, yeah. So, quick, I guess, word of encouragement for today is that the Fall of Night campaign got a project we love, and I didn't even reach out to anybody for that. It just kind of I didn't even have a chance to. So that's nice.
Nice.
Always encouraging to see that. Also, it's been a really interesting, fast, kind of almost first half for us. Did not know how I was going to go with this. Our last campaign was the Tilt trade. So, if anyone knows anything about superheroes, it's a struggle on Kickstarter. So, going into this one, we just didn't know how it's going to go, and we've had a lot of support early, and that's pretty freaking awesome. We still have 4 weeks left in the campaign. We're already about halfway there. I did put a little challenge up today, just to try to mess with people and see what would happen, and it did bump us up a few $100s, so that's nice. So we'll take it. But anyway, so that's what's going on. Fall of Night is doing pretty well. We still have 4 weeks left, and we're going to add a couple of add-ons, and I guess I can share those, or I'll just wait until more people are watching. So maybe I'll just hold off. But for now, we can at least chat. And again, I said before the show, I don't know Andrew, so I get to know Andrew throughout the show as well. So, hi Andrew, who are you?
Who are
Hey,
you?
I am a creator that has had a long road. Talking about therapy session. I did Our Starry Universe, which was my first campaign. Took quite a while to get the art out of the artists. But it was a very successful campaign. We raised a lot of money, and I finally got all those books printed and shipped out. And now I'm doing the scary thing of going to a new project instead of doing an issue 2. Yeah,
Welcome.
thank you.
How do you feel it's going for you?
Well, I'm using Russell Nolte's How to Kickstart Your Book.
Mhm.
And so I feel like it's off to a little bit of a slow start, according to the algorithm he gave in that book. But I'm optimistic that we're going to hit our goal.
Any particular reason why you feel like it's I don't know what the right question is. Off to a slow start, but more I'm trying to think more analytically than that. Like,
yeah, he had
what's your
this
insight on
very
that?
Russell had this very analytical like percentage of pledges based on how many backers, how many followers you start with.
Mm-hmm.
And it spikes up in the first couple days, and then it accommodates the lull that we're all used to seeing, and then spikes up at the end. So I have a spreadsheet that tells me how much I should be at each day and week, and we're a little behind, but he was basing it off of $25 average pledge, but that's for books, novels, so it's a little different for us in comics. Right now, trending about $8, $9 average.
Okay. So I haven't had a chance to check out your campaign yet.
Yeah, tell us a little bit about it. Righteous Precipice is your new book. You chose to go black and white this time. Was that just just for this Make 100? Tell us about it.
That's a cost savings in black and white because the first campaign cost so much to produce. So I'm very excited about this one because I'm trying to do something pretty new, I think. One of my novel friends was telling me that he thinks that in the future, not too long from now, just like when you indie publish your book, you automatically get it audiobook made out of it. He thinks that you're going to automatically want to get a comic book also and just launch everything together. And so I'm trying to do that with my company. We're just getting started, trying to get reliable artists and getting the schedule tightened up so that we can try to put out books, right? And so this first one, this Righteous Precipice, this is my first client, Summer Rae, and she indie published her book on Amazon. So you can see here that she wrote Fallen Angel, a tortured human, thrown into a whirlwind of fate and plots neither of them were prepared for. And will the ever-tightening grasp of the devil himself lead to their downfall or their redemption? So I'm acting as publisher, executive producer. I just signed with her, gave her an advance, and then I secured the artists and I adapted the novel to script, and we're going to go from there. I'm hoping that it's successful so we can do issue 2. And then if she's happy with it, we will work to continue through the whole book.
Nice. Yeah, I actually did not know that you were working with a novelist on this one, so that's cool to hear the story of how it came to page.
Yeah, for sure.
And I'm hoping this is the first of many novelists that I get to work with. I kind of am branching out from, I write novels myself and I make my own comics, and I want to help indie authors make comics too.
I can imagine for artists, someone who likes to see their story that they've had in their mind for so long come to life in one media might very well like to see it in another, and comic books is a way they would like to see that.
I'm just scrolling, y'all.
Yeah, I know. Obviously, Aaron, you have experience in that. I me fail English. That's impossible. I haven't ventured into that world yet. I did do some prose as like a backup feature in one of my books, but I'm not much of the writer in that area. So I'm always fascinated to see when people either dabble in both or like you said, adapt it to comics. It's cool to see.
Yeah, I like that too. It's pretty much how I feel about a lot of things moving forward. I think I've talked about it a little bit before. Before I talk about it, though, what's your favorite reward tier, Andrew?
Oh, I love metal covers.
Okay.
Me too.
I do metal covers this time. Oh my gosh, maybe I'll unlock that if we hit a
Chrome. I think you did Chrome, right?
Chromes are fun.
Nice.
Those are shiny, and the lenticulars.
Okay, yeah.
I think the lenticular is probably going to be the nicest looking one because Kari and Levi did a great job with the pencils, inks, and colors on those covers. So if you scroll up, you can see he has the wings, or scroll down in the main page here.
All right.
And you can see he has the wings clean and the wings on fire, and that lenticular is just going to light up, I think.
Yeah, that's going to be cool.
Yeah, that'll be definitely cool. Oh, so it's funny. Everybody's really moving into the metal cover stuff. Freaking John.
It's a great display item.
Lots of people beat me to it. I was very hesitant to do the metal covers, and then I might have told you this before, Aaron. I picked up, I think it was that C2E2. Brian Polito had a Lady Death one. Yeah. I just happened to be walking past the table, and once I held it in my hand, I'm like, I have a heavy metal comic. I need a metal cover.
Yeah.
It of all the gimmicky things we do in comics, that's probably the coolest one. It just feels cool.
Yeah. This so that's going to be one of our additional add-ons is going to be a metal cover, because I don't know, everyone likes that cover so much. It just seemed a shame to not do it.
Did you design that cover?
No.
Oh.
Though, the One Last Job #1, I was like, man, that would look dope as a like, now I want a metal version of that. But yeah, no, actually the colorist on Fall of Night did that cover completely.
Nice.
She's also an illustrator, but her name's Lois Lackey. We'll never be able to get her on a chat because she's a real artist. She's, anxiety of being and talking to people. But yeah, she's a fantastic artist and wonderful colors. She's done a great job on that book so far. I can't wait to see more of it. I'm going to show this little page here. Present, share screen. Let's talk about it. Dun, dun, dun.
Let's talk about it. Yeah, we got some metal covers in here too. We make it super confusing, so we do the previous issue is now in metal for this campaign, even though this is a trade paperback for those 4 issues. So, but anyway, you can also get it on our website, parttimecomics.storemv.com. So you can get it there as well. But yeah, this is the first trade for Part-Time Comics. I've had the pleasure of being part of a trade paperback twice in my comics career. They were very small print runs. Full color books, very expensive, never able to really get the volume out there we want. So now that I started with Part-Time Comics, this is definitely part of our mission, was to build up some longer form stories, get some trade paperbacks out there. And this is going to be our first one with my venture here with Part-Time Comics. So for those who don't know, the short pitch, Black Sabbath, not the Beatles, became the most popular band in the world, and thus the universe was changed forever, musically and otherwise. But our main character, Lana, just wants to play her indie music in a heavy metal world. And she's thrust into a battle to keep heavy metal on the top of the charts when she finds a magic pair of drumsticks. So that's the short pitch for Drumsticks of Doom. Hasn't launched yet, so I can't show you all the cool tiers like Andrew's got going on. But we definitely have metal covers. We did get one item in the mail today. I can show you here.
Uh-oh. Hold on. I don't get to see. All right, there we go.
We got our 3D printed
Nice.
heavy metal hands in red. In red or black, so you
That's
can
cool.
get either one.
That's fun.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Our awesome mutual friend, Carissa Grant, she's the merch queen. She had a person she worked with who does awesome 3D printing. I thought they were going to come and be, kind of brittle and like, those moldoramas you get out of, at the zoo or whatever. But man, they're thick, they're sturdy. I'm very excited about how they turned out. They're 5.5 inches tall. And we did drumsticks in the last campaign. We have a couple available in this one. But so if you did back before, you got yourself a cool, glow-in-the-dark drumstick, here's a stand for you. Or you have your favorite band, you caught a drumstick at a show or something like that. I know I used to love doing that as a drummer, catching the drumstick from, I have probably 20 in a box somewhere. So I was like, you know what, I need
that was your sport.
Stand. Yeah. So I just thought, for me, that's just a cool item that I wanted to have. But yeah, we're gonna have all kinds of cool stuff in here. We got new keychains, larger stickers, buttons, beanie hats, a backpack with our logo on it. We're doing all kinds of fun stuff.
Stuff you want.
Yeah, going all out for the trade, just to try and get people excited and get as many books as we can print, because I think, again, that's going to be a huge turning point for the company going forward, having that larger book for conventions and all this stuff.
Yeah.
That's how we're trying to look at it, with like unfortunately, like how I guess poorly Tilt did for the trade is that the bread and butter of it is really in cons, and being able to get it in front of people in person is a completely different ball game than trying to get people on Kickstarter. But again, it also was crutching along because it was a superhero story on top of that. But
we actually made the choice early on to do Drumsticks of Doom is in black and white. That was partly a budgetary concern, but when Dan turned in the original pitch pages, Dan Doherty, the artist, co-creator on the book, I just thought that looked heavy metal to me. That just looked like old school indie comics. He does an amazing work in black and white, so it definitely was an artistic choice, but also budgetary. And it ended up, because 2 or 3 years ago, prices were 25% less. Now it's really what's kept the series going, because if I had to pay a colorist and then pay the extra cost to print, I mean, I'd be way underwater on this book. So it ended up being a blessing in disguise, and I think it really works for the story. He and I have talked about, if things take off with the book, doing a color edition like, Scott Pilgrim did or Bone.
Yeah.
But that would be a while down the road. For now, we're loving it in glorious black and white. So yes, support Andrew's book as well too, because I love a good black and white book.
Yep.
I think the pages on mine came out really great in black and white, and I'm starting to wonder, like, oh, maybe I shouldn't do color.
It's so hard to like. All right, let's see if I can get this up here. For instance, we did One Last Job, number 1 and 2, and they're both in black and white, and that's specifically what it had nothing to do with finance. It had to do with the vibe that I wanted the book to have, particularly like the vibe of a 007 beginning scene, where it's always like black and white, and then the gunshot, and then it's whatever it becomes. But then I was messing around, coloring a little bit of it, and I knew that I wanted to do something with the rest of the story. And whenever I did color it and I just messed around with colors for a little bit, I was like, oh crap, now I want to do a colored version.
Now you need to see what it looks like.
Yeah, now it's just I don't know, it's a task for me to do, I guess. But yeah, I think basically the way that's going to play out is issues 1 and 2 were on Kickstarter, but instead of doing any more issues like that, single issues, my plan is to just release a full graphic novel. The next campaign after this would be the One Last Job graphic novel, and the plan is to have it fully colored and then the rest of the story in there as well. So
I have a buddy who did did kind of like that, and then he did give the option of getting the floppies if people wanted them at the same time. I know that's a hassle, but if those those completists that really want it, but I could definitely see that. I wish that was another goal of Part-Time Comics, was to go straight to trade, and obviously budget wise, it's just too much. You just couldn't make it happen.
Yeah,
but that would be what I would want to do in the future.
Yeah, I mean, if I could afford it, that's every single story would come out like that. But that's kind of why I like I like what you and I are doing. For those that don't know, John and I are doing a book together called Final Heist, and I don't know where the slide is. It's on my other hard drive. But anyway, we're doing a book together, and it's a one-shot, and I like the idea of, I would like to start doing more one-shots if I'm going to do floppies, just one-shot floppies. I think that's super fun, and then trying to somehow maneuver into doing a little bit longer format graphic novels or trades, because I would like to do the same thing with Everville. We had Welcome to Everville, which is basically your 0 issue, and then I want to do the Neverland Chronicles, which was originally going to be 5 issues, but then the other part of me was like, well, forget it. What if we just tried to do the whole thing as just a solid graphic novel rather than individual stories? So I don't know. I'm in there somewhere mentally trying to figure it out.
Yeah, I have a couple stories like ours, Final Heist, and another one that are definitely, and CPS is like that, Child Possession Services, where each story I think has a conclusion. There may be a bigger story building, but I think that's how I want to go going forward, just because it takes so long in between issues a lot of times, when you're in the indie world. And I want people to walk away with the full story. We focus sometimes too much on the trade paperback. Not everything has to be collected too as well. So if it's right for the story, I think I'd rather, even if it's a larger book, just give people the whole story rather than coming back. I like Frank Martin does a lot of 2-page or 2-issue arcs. That's okay, but I just don't want to do the floppies as much as possible.
Yeah.
As a reader, I would much rather have one full story. I'd rather read it all at the same time and know that I'm going to actually see the end of it.
Yeah, and I know the floppies carry a lot, with variants and stuff like that to help us keep trudging along here. But I really just, I think that's part of why American comics struggle, is that we're all so hesitant to pull away from the floppy.
Yes.
Go to it. But I mean, there's valid reasons for that, as I've already mentioned.
Yeah.
But at some point we got to rip that Band-Aid off and just say, here's the whole story. Or again, like I said, maybe you offer the floppies as kind of that boutique item that people want who just collect, and then
there was it Scout that tried to do it? Yeah, it was Scout that tried to do it. Whereas the you get the single first issue floppy and then the full trade.
Oh, I missed those.
Yeah, it was a couple years ago, but it was, so you get a floppy for the collectors, the issue ones or whatever, but then the full story is put together in a trade. I'm trying. Yeah, it was like 3 or 4 years ago, I want to say, because I remember at the time seeing it and I was like, that's not a bad idea. However, it didn't seem like the right time that, and I guess in the indie world, it didn't seem like the right time to try that, because even now, like you said, everyone's still kind of trying to buck against the idea of just doing a long format. It's one of the reasons I like Jessica's input on stuff. Is, for those that don't know, she's our pre-press editor and my fiance, so I'm biased, but she also is an avid reader, and especially in comic books, and so I like to be like, well, what do you think about this? And because I know that I'm too ingrained as like a writer and like, the way that I've looked at it, that I need someone like her that's just a reader. She just wants to read good stories.
Nice.
Andrew, I'm curious on your perspective of this long format versus floppies, coming at it from the perspective of working with novelists.
Yeah, I was just thinking about that. That's one of my challenges because I have like a bigger fish that I'm trying to catch right now. And one of her top questions was, well, how long between issues? And, my first book, I was learning the ropes and trying to find the right artists. And it took me 2 years to get my first book done. Righteous Precipice, we got the everything completed within just under a year. And so I tell her, a year between issues, and it's kind of like, well, can we just do the whole graphic novel and publish that? But like you guys were saying, it's very expensive to get that cost up front.
I don't know what the answer is. Because like then there's the flip side of like, all right, well, you could run a campaign after you have all your preview pages ready and stuff, but then the nerve-wracking part is like, all right, I got 6-7 pages ready for a Kickstarter campaign, and then I'm gonna have to figure out how long it's going to take the artist, the colorist, the letterer, post-production and all that after the campaign's done, if it's successful. And so then you're looking at the possibility of a year or more, depending on the artists and the art team and life during those time.
Right.
So
right.
I'm gonna say the market also.
Yeah.
Because I see books you can buy a paperback for maybe $10 or hardcover for $25, and that's just words, and it takes a long time. But now we're paying for artists and letterers and editors, and people in comics are expecting your floppy to be $4.99, $5.99, $9.99. I think we're just not getting paid enough.
Yeah, I think we all struggle with what to charge too. Because we're seeing it from. I think we base it a lot off of the big companies, and that's probably just not the right way that we should be basing our pricing off, because theirs is all over the place too, depending on how much effort they want to put into any particular title. So I don't know, and every time I ask somebody, it seems to be different. So I don't even know what the going normal rate for a floppy is right now. Hey, Ralph.
Yeah, that's why I don't pay a letterer. Got to save money somewhere.
Yeah, honestly, that's why I wasn't as well, and I was doing it myself, and then I hate it so much. I hate it so much. I complain the whole time.
That's how I am with the. I started color flatting myself, and that's like torture.
Yeah,
brutal.
Well, that's
the
like
worst job in comics.
Well, that's like with the One Last Job. Luckily, the way that the art's done in that, it's pretty much just flatting, and it pops because of the heavy black inks that they put on it, and the like grit and stuff. It's just like, once you put one color under the layer, you're like, oh crap, that's awesome. So then I was like, I think I could do this.
Nice.
So we'll see how far into it I get before I'm like, this is a really bad idea. But I used to want to do like a colorist gig, and I used to do them actually. There's a few covers floating out there that I was the colorist on for other stuff, but I don't know. I stopped for some reason. Yeah. Anyway,
I wanted to draw interiors because I
really
have been sort of an artist since I was a kid, but it just takes a lot of work, right? I have a day job and I am in school, and I just didn't have time to learn well enough to put out a product I was happy with.
That's kind of similar, I guess, in a way to like what happened with the co-owner at Catalyst was, once he started doing full-time tattooing, like his thing was he can't do tattooing all day and then shift brain to do sequential art because they're so completely different. And so it took a while to get to that point where, he was ready to say that. But once we did, it was just like, well, yeah, I mean, we get that. That makes sense.
Yeah.
So we had to do what we had to do.
To go from art all day to then art at home, on your break as your hobby, that's difficult.
Sure. Yeah, I had a buddy who tattooed too, and he's like, yeah, I mean, I want to do more work with you, but I make $300 an hour tattooing
Yeah.
versus a nickel an
Yeah.
hour for the 8 hours I spend on this page. You got to understand where I'm at. And I was like, no, man, I get
Yeah.
Yeah, I wish I could too, man. All right, let me show, I guess, the Fall of Night, just
Yeah.
because I guess that was the purpose of this. I don't know if I want to do the trailer first or what. Let's see. Trailer's nothing more than a button, so let's do the trailer and then I'll get the page up. Shaboop.
Be without fear in the face of your enemies.
This has been a story that I've wanted to tell for a really long time.
Be brave and upright, that God may love thee.
Exploring that fracture of faith when you're pushed too far in the name of God.
Speak the truth even if it leads to your death.
What happens at that point?
Safeguard the helpless and do no wrong.
Well,
Yeah, voiceover actor Aaron Dowen.
yeah.
You did the music
Always.
too, right?
Oh no, not this time.
Oh no.
Well, I mean, I mixed it, but that was about it. All right. So anyway, hey, we're at 51 now. Look,
Hooray.
we are inching ever closer to the halfway mark, which
So
was
close.
my true interior heart goal for today was to hit the halfway mark, because we're still looking at 4 weeks worth of this campaign, and as everyone who's here knows, it just gets quiet. So, the quicker you can get to at least the halfway mark, the better. I am very excited that we have as many backers as we do, and that people seem to be getting the physical copy of this book more than I thought, because I just never know how it's going to go. Anyway, so yeah, Fall of Night, Runaway Templar. I'm not going to read this all because we just watched the trailer like 2 seconds ago. But we do have 2 cover options this time. It's going to be the main cover and then just a virgin variant of that same cover, because I don't know, for whatever reason, it's just so nice. It's just so nice. There's part of me that just wants a giant tapestry of it. That's a whole other tier,
Like
I guess.
a Giclée print or something on canvas.
Yeah, something. I
Is
don't
that
know.
how you pronounce that? I thought it was geekly.
I'm not sure actually, but
Anyway, yeah, the team behind this is Joe DeSantos. For those that don't know, Joe and I worked together quite a bit. We did Tilt 1, 2, 3, and 4, and then we also just did Atreidian Justice for Ralph Madrigal, and his campaign was just an absolute baller for a first-time creator. Something that I think everybody could look up to. He did a fantastic job, just crushing it throughout an entire campaign with 0 dead space. So that was beautiful. Anyway, and then on top of that, we have Lois Lackey doing these crazy colors. We gave her a limited color palette. It's a Japanese color palette that I found and I really liked. So that's why everything kind of has the same vibe to it. And then Van Claridge did the lettering on this, and it just keeps getting better. Every time we see a little something new. And I did put a little preview in the update that's on Kickstarter today, of a little bit more of lettering, where he did like it was like I don't even know what, a Japanese palace for the scene change. I thought that was freaking dope.
When you bring your setting marker to life.
Yeah, for sure.
That's awesome.
Yeah, the team is crushing it. I'm very excited. I would love to do some other stories that I have with the same exact team. I think it'd be really fun. Anyway, rewards wise, I do have a holofoil trading card that I would like to do, but that's only going to be on a very specific tier, just to make it a little bit something more special. And then, eventually I'll just make regular trading cards. We do have a new vibe to our trading cards. They're all going to be kind of uniform now across all of our different titles. Normally this stuff's on the bottom though. It's just the way that it just made sense this way. Katana keychain, because everyone needs their own katana keychain.
Where are you going to sign this keychain?
I think I'm going to try to sign it on one side of the blade. So
Yes.
it's going to be a weird signature, but I'm going to figure it out.
If people can sign rice, we can sign this.
You're darn right.
I'll say I love trading cards. I just
the cards
can't
look
get enough of them.
we did signed drumsticks. You don't have to blow me up, but it is a pain in the ass.
Yeah, on a curve
I tried to
like
put
that.
the logo on there. Yeah, the curve. I was like, oh Jesus. What was I thinking?
Go ahead. Yeah, we tried to do a special thing back when we did Welcome to Everville. We did a black and white alternative cover and blood splattered it with acrylic paint.
With blood.
And the problem is when you get a glossy high gloss cover,
oh no,
and then you try to use acrylic paint, it ended up with us holding heat lamps and stuff.
It was a nice idea.
Yeah, and you know what? They came out great. Anyway, yeah. A lot of the rewards we based with the cover on this because just everyone talked about the cover and why not? Again, Virgin variant. In my dream world, we would hit some kind of goal of I don't even know, 5K or something, and I would just holofoil the cover because that would be ridiculous. But anyway, I already talked about the team. I already talked about those. There is an ash can as well, and everyone that backed on day one, you're getting a physical copy of the ash can for free if you're a physical backer. And for everyone else, it's going to be an add-on, and it's going to be a limited amount because we did include some in our retail tier, and there's only going to be 100 that are going to be made of this particular ash can. Because ash cans are cool, and people keep asking us to do them, so we're going to do them.
And I've started to see them more in stores.
Yeah. I'll be honest. That's what got me to back the physical. I'm a digital guy these days, and I think your book looks cool, and I'm still, you see all these books behind me. I just, we buy a lot of indie books in our community, and I usually just go with the digital. And I was like, well, he's got this free thing, and I can only get it for 24 hours. So that definitely, and it looks cool, that ash can.
Yeah, I do like that.
If it was just a shrunk version of the book, I would have been like, I guess I can give it to somebody. But that's it feels cool to me. I don't know.
Yeah.
It was a very striking image.
Yeah, honestly, the idea for the image was just I had already built this entire page, the whole Kickstarter page, and I was like, it'd be cool as a cover is just making these cherry blossoms fade into blood splatter. So then I just did that for the cover instead. And for those that don't know, I do graphic design, so I made the easiest version of some weird sword that I could figure out, and I just thought it was simplistic but still kind of vibey.
So you did do that, because that's what I meant when I asked if you did that. I thought you did do this.
Yeah, the ash can cover I did. Yeah.
Oh, cool. Yeah.
Yeah, that's me being weird.
You had to do something for this campaign. You didn't do nothing else.
Right.
Don't even letter your own shit anymore.
That's right. I'm growing up, man. Look, t-shirt tiers, you never know how they're going to go. I'm always curious how we end up at the end of the campaign, because some campaigns it'll be like, yeah, we sold a bunch of them, and which is sometimes good because then it's a lot cheaper. We have another John in our lives, and he is a retail friend of ours, and legitimately just asked, why didn't you do a retail tier this time?
And so there it is.
So there it is. And then I was like, you tell me what you want, and you tell me the price point, and I'll do it. And he gave me an idea, and I was like, all right, I did that one. This is all he said. He didn't even know about the ash can. I did that separate. And then I was like, or I'll do one where you get the Virgin variant, the regular cover, and the ash cans. And so he emailed me back, and he was like, I did the bigger one. So, and we actually got another store in on that, which is always nice, because I legitimately meant it when I made the joke yesterday that it's named this because John's the only one that ever buys our retail tier. And then within 10 minutes, another store bought it. So
that's super cool. Yeah, that really, that's a great feeling to ship a big box to a store,
Yeah, for sure. I'm hoping, maybe tomorrow we'll print off some, I have flyers. I just haven't actually printed them off, and then go leave them at a store because they can use it, but it's also just a stack of flyers that they can let customers steal.
We have a few local favorites.
Yes, we have some local shops that are really good, and it would be nice and I know that this is right up one of their alley because they're more about manga than anything else, and they love Japan. So, freaking, this is the book. And then I like to do weird stuff. For those that don't know me super well, I take a lot of joy in putting these packages together. Like once the campaign's done and I actually get to sit down and put them together, I think it is fun. And one of the things that I get asked about a lot is doing the awful sketches because I cannot draw. I can graphic design, I cannot draw, and that's why this Tinkerbell is pushed all the way to the back of this image. So I like to include that on some of our bigger tiers, just something stupid. And, you get to pick whatever it is you want me to draw. And this particular person wanted me to draw a Tinkerbell. Somebody else had me draw, these were ones from Tilt. Somebody else had me draw a Tigger. And then I've done like Speedy Gonzalez, like all kinds of different stuff. It's super dumb, but it's fun for me. The other cool thing I thought on this one was, first off, you get the holofoil trading card. And this is a Templar Creed that I will probably blood splatter because that's just fun for me. And sign those. I think I'm probably have Joe sign them as well, so you'll get a signature from the artist and the writer on them. And then this is the same thing with the Virgin variant. On top of the Virgin variant, you still get the regular cover as well. So price point wise, if anybody looks on the back side for add-ons and all that, you'll notice that the price difference between this one and this one, you're saving quite a bit of money on the Virgin variant, and you're still getting the normal one. As I said earlier, though, we are going to do a couple of add-ons. The ones that I want to do coming up are going to be there's a sake company in the book, and they're called Dragon Spit, and so we're going to do a mug that has a Dragon Spit logo on it, which is, as you can guess, a dragon spitting. I think that'll be fun, and we don't need more mugs in our house, so I'm gonna have to get myself one and just store it in the car or something.
Yeah.
So I don't get fussed at. What was the other one? Oh yeah, the metal cover. And we'll just do that as a Virgin variant, like metal, not even cover. It's just a metal metal print. So
nice.
Yeah, we won't put any lettering on that, just to make it look extra cool. And those are the add-ons that I'm planning on so far. There's a couple other things in mind, but who knows?
Who knows? Yeah, I made the decision to do the logo-less covers too, and that just that looks really good in metal. So. It's sick.
On your awful drawings tier, that was reminding me. So I'm kind of half joking, but I'm surprised that Kickstarter let you get away with that, because way before comics, when I was just drawing, I tried to do a whole campaign that was called $1 Terrible Drawings. And they were like, you can't sell terrible drawings. It's a gimmick.
I've done similar too, and done little sketch cards, but it had to be like Simpsons characters, Nintendo characters, things that are simple lines. For those who are interested in that, just so you know, I'm sure Aaron feels the same way. You get the extra bonus of torturing the writer, because it is absolute torture. When you're not confident in it, you feel just the suffering that you have. But I do appreciate anyone who bought it, but it's hard when it's not your skill level,
And I put so much effort into it. Like I think about it so much harder than I know it's even worth thinking about, because I know it's going to come out like crap, but I still treat it like super serious. Like I got all my different pencils with all the different, size tip pencils, and then
I've seen the amount of trying involved.
Yeah, and
it can be intense.
I know. I got my microns, my blue line pencil. I got all that shit.
And then guess what? When you're done and you sit back and you look at the paper and you're like, oh, it's still crap.
And
I know what I wanted it to look like.
Yeah. And then you're like, okay, I charged someone $7 for this, and I spent 4 hours on it, and it's like, but it's part of the fun. So once in a while, I do bust those out every once in a while.
I do think, like the reason I get away with it on the campaigns is because I'm not charging extra for it. It's just part of another thing.
That makes it a fun add-on to something like a bundle package like that.
Just something stupid and extra. But we've always been known to do that for those that got like One Last Job too. I don't remember what kind of paper it was. It was some kind of like nylon paper. Anyway, we made ransom notes, and I stuck a bloody earring through it, and That's the
That's
top
cool.
of the box when you open it. And I was expecting the FBI to show up at my door, but they never did. So I guess they're not checking everything yet.
That's fun.
Yeah, it's fun. And then the first one last job we did, no one did this ever. We sent postcards to every single backer, and it was our highest backer count we've ever had. And on the back of it, it had an encryption. And we just waited for somebody to crack just one of them. And no one ever sent one. But then people would like do unboxing videos of that particular campaign, and they'd be like, "This is so cool," and then just no one put the effort into it. And I'll tell you how easy the encryption was. I just shifted every letter one.
Oh dear.
Like I tried to make it super simple. Oh well. Yeah, that's extra effort stuff that I do in there just because I think it's fun.
It makes people happy when they open it up.
Yeah. Jessica, Ralph has messaged me and asked for your opinion on a Trading Justice #1. So apparently you have to read that. I don't know what's going on with Jessica here, but I had Greg message me yesterday, and he was like, "Didn't she get scales? Can she give me a poll quote?" I was just like, man.
Yesterday I said, "Hey, hi, hello. I read all the comics, and I just want other people to talk to me about them." And so here are the other people. They're talking.
There you go. All right, so. Oh, all right.
Here's Van.
Random comments. Yeah, there's Van. Beyond stoked to be working on this book with y'all. Congratulations on killer release. Here's to 3,000 and beyond. Man, wouldn't that be a day?
And as a fellow letterer, I like what I see, Van. Welcome to the team there with Aaron. It's looking great.
Yes, and at this point we are now $2 away from our halfway point.
Nice.
So that's awesome. Anyway, so yeah, for us this was a different kind of project, and for those that were listening in the trailer, I did say very honest things in it. It is a story I have wanted to tell for a very long time. I wanted to do something different and something that I don't know. I didn't know how people would receive it because I am playing off of the Templar Knights, and if people know anything about the Templar Knights, they did really think they were doing something in the name of God, and I wanted to play off of the really bad things that they did, and then having one of them have to figure out a way to deal with that mentally, emotionally, and spiritually, and that's kind of why he went AWOL and ran to feudal Japan. But if you didn't realize that those two things were going on at the same freaking time, and once I found that out, I was like, oh crap. So then he just ends up getting into a whole other level of chaos after a few years of being in feudal Japan by complete accident. And by the end of the first book, you'll know, like, oh crap. For those that have read everything that I've done up to now, you'll know the most violent I've got is in Welcome to Everville, because the aliens ate kids and stuff. But this is a little bit more direct violence. Spoiler. In my opinion. Yeah. But I look at it differently because that's more like alien, stuff. So it's like monstery. Yeah. This is so much more grounded.
It's a serious plot.
Yeah, it's so much more serious than I think most of the other stuff that I've done. But that keeps me enthralled.
Close to that 50% mark. I'll throw it on the gauntlet right now. I will send you a free digital comic. Any of our books, if you put Aaron over the mark before we sign off the air here, just contact Aaron and he'll send it through Kickstarter.
Very nice.
Yeah, where's Greg? When
somebody put him over? Put him over the mark.
Yeah, Greg said he was going to be asleep, so I get messages at the same time. Look, for anyone that's thinking about running a campaign, you need to be prepared for this. You're going to get so many spam messages on your Facebook page, on your emails, and on your Kickstarter page. It will be nonstop from the moment you launch, probably until about halfway through your campaign when they finally give up.
I'm getting them on my Facebook page too. In my DMs.
Those are the ones I was sending to the group chat earlier. Just messing around with them.
Just messing with them.
The one that I sent in the group chat earlier where I told them my mom doesn't let me talk to strangers, I got a message a little while after that, and they asked if they could talk to my mom. And they were like, can we do a video chat or a video call? And I was like, no, absolutely not.
They might have actually thought you were a child on Kickstarter and needed your mom's permission.
That one Travis sent earlier was not related to Kickstarter spam, but that was one of the funniest ones I've ever seen. He asked for a picture holding the comic they were offering
Yeah.
to sell them, and then it was a big.
I laughed so hard when
I can't believe they did it. I would have been like, I'm sending you $1, man. That was like, that was
I
some
just
hardcore shit.
I couldn't believe they did it. I couldn't believe they actually took the time to do that. It was fantastic.
These
Man,
people
some of
are
these-
true professionals. They are ready. You know?
yeah, for sure. Well, but that's what's funny is like every one of the scammers say the exact same. It's like they all have the same exact script, and so like you mess them up a little bit, and they don't know what to do about it. And Van just said that we're at 50%. So
Nice.
All right, who
Nice.
put us over?
I'll
Send
tell you
Aaron
in
a
just a
message, and we'll send you whatever book you want from us.
all right, I'll send it to you in a message so I don't like just put a random person on blast.
Put them on blast.
Oh, it doesn't matter. It was Van.
Oh,
Freaking letterers.
Here, Van. I'll post our site in the chat. Pick whatever book you want.
Yeah. So, well, also that's awesome. Very cool. Appreciate that we're still moving. It's nice to keep on moving because you never know when that brick wall hits.
It hits,
And
and
then
it
you're
hits
like-
fast and hard these days.
Yeah, and then it's like, oh, you remember that one time we had backers?
Remember that one
So-
time I refreshed and actually saw something change? That was
long
nice.
ago. Yeah, and once you get into that mode, usually for us it's like the 72-hour market's just dead, and then just take it in stride. It's try to get 1 or 2 a day, just keep posting, and that's all you can really do.
I mean, this for us is a big one. I don't normally put my goal at 3,000. I normally do it a lot less, but I'm so furious over how Tilt went that I said, I might as well put what I really think the minimum funding goal is. So it's a little different, a little bit more nerve-wracking, but I think we'll be all right. I think we'll
At
make it.
least it's nerve-wracking on the front and not on the back when you're having to not have enough money to pay for it.
That's true. That's true.
I'd rather have it this way.
Yeah.
Yeah,
mean,
that's something I struggle with too. I don't know how, if Andrew sets his kind of at the true goal he needs for the budget wise. I usually try to set it 20% lower because I'm realistic that you're not always gonna get there, and I can, I'm gainfully employed. I can manage it, but I try not to set it too low. I know a lot of people are like, set it to $1,000, set it to 500, just let it. But I feel like the excitement dies down, and that's part of it. People are excited. Otherwise, I could just do a straight pre-order for the book, right? If I knew I could get 200 people to buy it, but that's Kickstarter's partly about the excitement, and people want to see it get over the line and cheer it on. And if I set it too low, I feel like the excitement dies out, and then I don't get close. That's just been my experience in 18 campaigns now. But yeah, so I definitely respect. You can't set it too low. You gotta find that balance.
Yeah.
I don't have a lot of experience, this being my second campaign. My first one, I was looking at what some of the bigger indie guys were doing and kind of judging like Ryan Kincaid and seeing like how their campaigns were structured and what they were offering and what artists they were using. And I went very big on my first one. Way too many variants. I asked like 8,500. And we ended up getting there in the end.
I mean, a hell of a first campaign, I'll tell you.
Yeah. For sure.
I ain't never gotten that much, so
my
get something right.
My second one, I scaled back a lot, and right now I'm offering. I was kind of hoping that I get the same number of backers that I got in the first campaign, and then I kind of base that and do some calculations on how much shipping is and how much printing would be for all those books, plus the extra ones to sell. And so my costs right now don't cover the art. It covers printing, shipping, materials, and all that, and the fees and taxes and stuff. But
Okay.
hopefully
Wow.
we'll get there.
How long ago was your first one?
That was a couple of years ago.
Okay.
Has it been 2 years already?
I think
No.
it was already. Or is
Pull it up. If Aaron hasn't seen it, you
Pull
should
it
put
up.
it in the chat.
I haven't. No.
Our Starry Universe.
Our Starry Universe. Oh.
I have it open. I can just grab the link for you.
Do it.
Yeah, I mean, he kicked ass on his first one.
Oh yeah, I put a lot of money into it too. But
Yeah, well, that's it too. Like, people don't understand. Like, there's a reason why we have high numbers we have to hit, because when you got 7 covers to produce, and it was a large book and full color.
If I sell every book that I printed, I will turn a profit. But I will tell you, I put 20 grand into this book.
My goodness
Well, there you
gracious.
go.
I hurt my feelings. The art's fantastic.
So what are you doing? Do you have them in stock somewhere, or what are you doing to
There, so
the
I have
profit?
them in my house, and I have my web store open, and I've sold
Okay.
a couple on my web store.
Okay.
And I applied to go to a local con this summer.
Nice.
We have
Okay.
Denver Fan Expo out here.
Ooh, hit us with that web store link. We'll post it.
Yeah, for sure.
YouTube chat. Yeah, and I know that was something you had talked about in our Discord group. And I know, Aaron, you don't always do that either. You don't always put other books. I don't know if that's like a finance thing, but you don't always put all your books into the campaigns that aren't for that book. I know that kind of muddies the waters a little bit as far as finance, and that's kind of putting your stock towards another book. I don't have that problem just because Part-Time Comics is all my books, so I just kind of throw them in and everything. But it does kind of gray the waters as far as the budget and how much you're truly making back for the book. So not always something I recommend.
Part of the reason we don't is because we sell out of our like freaking tilt, man. We by the time we got to issue 4, we were completely sold out of issue 1, issue 2, and we had not very many of issue 3 left. And I was like, well, crap, man, I don't feel like reordering all this and going through this whole thing again.
Right.
And especially because we knew the next step was the trade. And at the end of the day, I don't want a whole bunch of floppies anymore. Now that the trade's available, that's what I want to be selling. So I guess for us, it was more about the stock than anything else. And then like the other thing was I was trying to keep it separate to where there's the superhero universe and then there's the other stuff. But the other stuff isn't connected to anything. So I think I have too many different genres that I didn't know if people would just be like, I don't know what's happening here. So that's why I just did the digital one this time, where I was like, if anybody cares to read all of our books, there you go.
Yeah, I think that's good. You got to offer it. Yeah,
Yeah.
Especially since it's all in your umbrella. I know about offering too many universes and confusing the hell out of people. So, I just say throw it in there, let people get it. We usually get 1 or 2 people who kind of pick up all the back issues or whatever digital package we have. So it helps the bigger picture.
Yeah, and this is the first time that I did like a little digipack where I just got books from other people that were all along the same kind of swordsy vibe. And I really thought that would do better up front than it did. But like Jessica and I were talking earlier, it's interesting about this campaign that I wasn't expecting so many physical packages to be purchased so far.
Seems like it might be the cover. It might be that people just want to be able to display the cover.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just not used to. Typically, our digitals are the ones that sell. So this is a little bit different because we're looking at about 3-to-1 ratio right now of physical versus digital. So
yeah, that's where you want it, definitely. So those digital backers, they keep us afloat. We love them, but you got to move those physical books. I'll say though, I hovered over the physical one for a while until I realized I didn't see that you had free shipping. So people should note that as well. That was included in the price, and to me, I was like, well, that's a very reasonable price for a floppy. Because at first I was like, well, $12, and which is an average going rate for a Kickstarter book. And I was like, well, with shipping on top of it, I'll probably get a digital tier. And then I was like, wait a minute, it's free shipping, and I get this ash can. Holy shit, I gotta get that.
That's nice. I started doing that a few campaigns ago, and it was honestly because of Matt, the former co-owner, and it was just because he brought it up before in his own shopping on Kickstarter way. He gets infuriated when he goes to purchase a book and then he hits the button and then it's also $5 shipping. Like, it infuriated him, and I was like, oh well, maybe we could just put it all in, put it up front so that when people see it, it's included. And that is only for US shipping, because Lord knows $12 for a comic book shipping to Australia is not going to be a thing.
Right. I would recommend maybe find a way to work that into the opening graphics that's bigger, because for those of us who've been on Kickstarter for a while, I did not expect that. So
yeah,
you don't see it really, how the tiers are laid out. It's hard to see that fine print, but once people see it, they'll be excited.
Well, now I'm just going to put it right on the top.
Yep.
Free U.S.
I'm doing it
shipping.
right now.
It's like, I mean, it is like, it's like a bonus.
Bonus, yeah.
I still haven't gone to that. I still add it on because, you know, especially all the tiers are different and way different. So I'm not on your level yet, but I may yet go to that.
Oh, please.
Since you have a lot of physical copies, Andrew, something I've seen lately is that our local and kind of regional festivals are allowing artists to have booths for free, in that kind of form. Not like people who have novels, people who have books, people who have comic books, authors. They're letting that kind of artist in for free to have booths. So that's something that I think
I'll
maybe
have to look into that.
Yeah.
Because honestly, I just received my final stock from the printer in October, and end of September, beginning of October, and I spent all of October, November packing and shipping to the backers, and I haven't really had a chance to look into local shows like that. But that's a great idea.
All right, I almost couldn't put it any more up front than I did. I'll put it on the description.
You didn't have to change it on my account. I'm just.
No, it's a good point. I get like I need people to say that stuff.
Right. Well, if it's not typical on Kickstarter, then it's a bonus. You might as well let them know.
For sure.
Mm-hmm.
Jessica bringing up the little festivals and stuff. There's a huge one up here, that's in June or something, and they just posted that they were, if you're an author or writer, like the table's free, and they have like 10,000 people come through. So freaking.
Just because they want more of that type, they already have so many people with sculptures and so many people with
crafts,
or 3D printing, whatnot. You know, they want to have some authors there as well, and so
that's great. I mean, I'm right outside of Chicago, you know, huge metropolitan city, and I'll be honest, even the smaller conventions with COVID and everything have really died off and not come back. What's becoming bigger is like brewery shows, which I've done pretty well at. I've always done better at smaller shows. You know, it's just easier to kind of hand sell. You know, the bigger shows we get lost in the shuffle. So it's nice to see that come back. But still not seeing a lot of that. Not a lot of festivals and author conferences and things like that.
You go to a Comic-Con, you're competing with all these other comic books. You go to an art festival, and you're maybe two of the people who are there.
And sometimes there's the risk that you're not going to get your target audience with that, but again, with like somebody like Aaron or myself that have kind of a diverse library of books, I found that I do pretty well. You know, I can get somebody to kind of at least show interest in one of the titles, you know.
Some of the most fun that I've had, and I haven't done this in a long time because, I've been kind of in the background for a year, 2 years or something now. But some of the most fun that Matt and I had was being able to set up inside comic book shops for the day or whatever. Like, of course, there's free comic book day where a lot of shops will be like, oh yeah, if you're a local creator, come do it. But then like the ones that we develop friendships with, they would just be like, oh, you have a new book coming out, you want to just like come hang out and sell it. And then like sometimes they'll be like, oh, if you come and buy a book from Catalyst, we'll give you 10% off whatever you purchase in the store. So like,
oh, that's really nice.
That's fun as crap if you can team up with some good store owners, and you're in your direct market, and you can probably talk them into making a post about it. So I think that's something that I want to try to get back into as well, because I want to start reestablishing and building some of those relationships with the store owners.
It's great.
John, my very musical, nerdy thought when I saw the drumsticks and the things that you had 3D printed was, do you know anything about Bands of America competitions, especially where you are? So when I was in high school and in the marching band, we would compete, and you have these regional competitions, and so that means every single high school's band is there. Every kid who plays the drums is there. Their mom's there to buy them stuff. They all come with a couple $100 just to buy the stuff that's there while they're at these competitions. And they just want to take home something like a T-shirt or a pair of drumsticks or that you have 3D printed. Like, I can imagine they would buy that.
That's a good idea.
Like that's a whole new market.
It's definitely something I need to look into, because the co-creator of the book, Dan Doherty, he draws with another author. His name is DJ Corchin. A kids book called Band Nerds.
Yeah.
And he
Yes.
goes to the
Gosh.
school fets and stuff, and he just crushes.
Yes.
He does, but he is a children's book author.
Mhm.
But yeah, it's just such an easy sell at those places. You know, people come for that stuff. And they're like, oh,
Right.
cool, I'm a band nerd. I want that. You know, and it's just anecdotes about him being in band when he was a kid and everything like that.
Yeah.
So just
So
you know,
they're-
and again, Dan also authors Drumsticks of Doom, draws it. So I'll have to ask him if he's got an in.
I mean, these are large competitions. I was coming from North Carolina to everyone in the entire region, and the whole East Coast was going to Indiana to this one competition. So imagine, like, that's so much larger than even a Comic Con, and they just want to bring home something with drumsticks.
I know. We also do an anthology based around Magic the Gathering, the card game.
Yeah.
And I saw for the first time in like a decade, there's a big Magic the Gathering convention coming back to Chicago. So I'm like, oh, I'm going to get a booth. I'm going to sell these books. And then people will be like, oh, you have other books. Yeah. And then they told me, oh, yeah, you can have a booth, $2,600 for the weekend. I'm like, well, never mind.
Never mind, yeah.
Maybe I'll just come to the show.
My $6 zines. No, I'll just sell them in the bathroom, I guess.
There you go. Stall's closed. Man.
Oh boy, yeah, that one hurt a little bit.
But are you going to go anyway, though?
Yeah, I'm going to go.
Yeah, for sure. But you've been playing Lorcana more.
I have. Yeah, I've almost pretty much abandoned Magic the Gathering.
Oh.
I don't have buddies that play as much. I have a couple of buddies that we play Commander online, but yeah, just having the kids so excited about Lorcana, that's what makes me, excited about it. So yeah. But
Jessica
Magic
and
will
I
always
are
be
not
my heart.
we're not allowing ourselves to buy Lorcana at all.
Yeah, I wouldn't. Once you take that plunge, it's over.
Yeah,
No.
I mean, we finally got to the point where we like sold off the Magic cards that I had, and then we're like, all right, we can do this. We can be adults and not get obsessed with a new thing, except for the Pokemon cards that the store didn't want to take, and now I need a Charizard deck.
Yeah.
So there's always something.
I definitely thought we could be reasonable too. I will say though, they finally have issued a reprint of the game, so prices have really gone down. It's much more affordable than Magic the Gathering.
Don't talk us into a new game.
Yeah, but it is super fun. But yeah, if the kids didn't play it, I definitely wouldn't. Although I am a Disney mark to the end, but it's definitely more affordable than Magic the Gathering, and you can throw together a cool deck for like $25, which
nice.
It's not the same in a lot of games.
No.
Yeah, for sure. Dang, get them. Whatever it is, they got. Well, I don't know what else to talk about.
Well,
Dan.
So if I can get one pledge,
7
to 8, I will show you either the final page of this issue or the cover to issue 2.
Oh,
yeah, I need to actually I'm meeting new people, so it's all interesting. Let's see. I need to share this on my page.
Yeah, share it on your page. It's got some good tiers. I'll throw down the gauntlet on that one too. Hit Andrew up with the whoever that backer. I'll send you a digital book. Come on.
Yeah, I'll do it too.
Throw in on that. We got the Kickstarter exclusive cover. Come on, people.
Dang. I always mess these links up when I put them in there.
Even if you watch this on Facebook afterwards, I'll still message me. I'll still send you the book.
Yeah.
Because I know people do watch these afterwards.
Yeah.
And on YouTube, right? You're broadcasting YouTube, yeah.
Yeah. I had said that on a show a little while back. It's been so weird that Inner Sanctum has done so much better than just the podcast. And I don't know if it's because it's live stream or what, but it's crazy. All right, I'm posting this.
Yeah, people are super into the live streams. They want to see you interact and stuff. I podcast, that's old man stuff.
Okay, and from. Do you have a part-time comics page?
No.
Okay. From
just Linktree.
All right. Next backer. Wait, that's what we're doing, right? Next backer.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
All right.
I do need to get a website. Someone build me a website.
It's so much work, John.
It is,
so
right?
much.
It is.
I can do it, but it's just I'm already exhausted just thinking about it.
I had a buddy who used to help us out, and I just felt bad because he just put so much time into it. And I'm like, no, man, you can't do this for free.
Yeah, I mean, of course everyone like asks too. It's just I wish I could, but that it really does take a long time.
Oh my god, yeah.
I could complain a little bit about websites, but I'd probably get myself in trouble.
Is that what you do for a living?
You got in trouble.
Oh, you got multiple ones running in the back.
Little ones over here. Shh.
Got a herd.
No.
Yeah, I love it.
Our next
Oh, three.
review.
1, 2, 3.
No, I don't professionally do websites. I had a site on a hosting platform, and it was a pretty decent site with a custom email address at yourcompanydomain.com, and I've known other authors that also have their own, and usually Gmail marks them as spam or phishing.
Mm.
And once I switched to Squarespace with a Google Workspace, everything came through fine without any spam.
Well,
Not to
sometimes you just have to warm that sucker up.
Right?
Depending on where it's built, because we had to do that with ours. Now, like I finally gotten to the point where a lot of our emails aren't ended up in spam, that's a win right there.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know.
Winner,
I don't
winner.
know why. All of a sudden,
Straight
it
to the
started working.
inbox.
Yep. All right. I'm waiting on the world to change here. Let's see. All right. So Andrew, let's see. So you did your first campaign a couple of years ago. What got you into comics?
I started collecting as a kid. So my first comic was Spawn 1. That's how old I am. It was a used copy, a little bit stained, but I loved it. I read it like 5 times a day. And then I got into Darkhawk shortly after that and got that whole run.
Nice.
So that's where I started. And then I quit for a while. I got to a certain age and I just was like done with comics. And then when I started drawing again, I was 35 and I started drawing again. And I wanted to make a comic book. But that's where I was like, it's taking too long to learn how to do sequential art. And then I started writing stories because I needed to make a story too anyways. So then that's how I became an author. And then after doing writing for, I think this is year 6 of working on my writing craft. A few years ago, I was like, I'm going to do a comic, but all the big comics are done by teams. It's not, you don't see like popular comics that are done by one person who does everything. So that's when I decided to just find a team and get my story implemented that way.
Nice.
No Scotty Youngs.
No, not as many these days, but
No,
there are a few.
for sure. Look, Middle West though. I need to put that on my recommendations one of these days. Just monitoring. I posted too much today. Nobody's gonna see my posts.
You're shadow banned,
Yeah.
but they'll see it. Usually these videos pop up the next day and stuff like that.
Yeah, for sure. It happens. Yeah. That was my major question. I was curious about the bridge between the novels and the comics.
Oh, yeah.
Cool. Anybody else? Thoughts, concerns?
No, thanks for having us. I'm glad your campaign's off to a great start. Andrew will pick up the pace here.
Yeah.
Yep. Hopefully, more than one. You just got to let us know who it is, whoever's next, and we will send you whichever book.
Send you some free stuff.
Or John and I will pick each other's, which one we'll send from each other.
There you go.
All right. Well, everybody that's still hanging out in here, thank you so much. And for everybody that's going to watch this later, if you're listening to this later, if you're on Andrew's Kickstarter, back it, because you might be the next one after the next one.
After the next one.
Yep. And
Righteous
that's what you want.
precipice.
Yes.
Help an author get her book adapted.
There you go. Yeah. That's a quick pitch right there. I'm
Yeah.
gonna drop it one more time. All right. Drop it right there. All right. All right. Andrew, super nice to meet you digitally. I'm sure we will talk more in the little group chat. And John, I don't know. I'll probably see you in a couple days on some other show or something.
Yeah.
That's just the way it goes. Jessica, I'll see you in 2 seconds.
Yeah. Nice to meet you. Nice to see you.
Let's see.
Thanks, everybody. I hope you all have a fantastic night and